I came across a video today regarding how Trump, or so it seems that Trump is attempting to use, or is hoping to use, let's keep it real, is hoping to use those that are in detention centers, from what it seems, as free labor. And I spoke about this, or I've written about this. I'm going to be finally getting to that today. I hope so. And I am not surprised. I was wondering this whole time, why are they sending them to detention centers? It actually brought to mind, since I've been watching a lot of Korean shows as of recently and movies, like, is this some organ harvesting? I know this is like the worst case scenario, right? I'm sorry, but you can't help but wonder, like, who are these very individuals? Like, they're not doing anything correctly. They're just snatching, kidnapping these individuals that are just going about their day trying to make a living here in the US. And furthermore, individuals that I've mentioned time and time again that have indigenous ancestry, people that are indigenous to the Americas, the ones being targeted. Hey, we've seen this historically, where people of color, we've seen this with the Black community, we've seen this with the Native American community, we've seen this with the East Asian community, targeted, and the Arab community. Let's not forget, after 9/11, there was a lot of targeting of the Arab community. We've always seen this by the same individuals time and time again. It's unfortunate that our communities don't wake up to that reality, don't wake up to the reality that our ancestors have also been oppressed historically, have been used, have been murdered. Hey, that's why I'm here, right? To spread that message, to bring awareness, to enlighten. And I know that some of you have left a lot of lovely comments. Thank you so much for your support. And I'll I'll be bringing out that the topics, or covering a lot on all of this, right? Not only of what's happening now, but what I've observed happening time and time again. The differentiations of treatment of people just based off race, based off their ethnic background. We should, if we are saying that we are people with some level of humanity, with morality, with integrity, with goodness, right, in us, it's always mind-boggling that the ones that claim to stand by justice, I came across a lot of comments yesterday, and they were white people, evidently just judging off the pictures on their profile on YouTube, and they were just like, hey, we need to send the illegals, or illegal immigrants are doing X, Y, and Z, naturally pointing to them as being criminals, pointing to them as doing all these things. But it's just like, did you not forget, or did you forget, right? Did you forget that your ancestors have historically oppressed communities of color, continues to, right? Since you guys uphold the power, you guys have the money, you have everything on your side, just because your people have also brought ammunition. And it's interesting because I also came across comments that specifically said, oh no, we conquered these lands, despite, and then some saying, oh, natives have indigenous, Asian, it doesn't really matter. Natives, first and foremost, were here prior to Europeans. Let's keep that clear. So if anything, Europeans are the first immigrants, period. Europeans are the first immigrants because they never founded or discovered these lands. And yes, all that BS regarding Columbus, BS. Why aren't we upholding the Native American community as the founders, the historic founders? Once again, it was just because Europeans came in, had the ammunition, had the power, exercised that power, right? That authority, exercised violence. They brought in death. And I actually was thinking about this very thing, because I was just like, man, these people brought death, illness, sickness, like all these horrendous things, right, to this country. And it was like a foreshadowing of what the world was going to become. It's like they brought death, literally they brought death to this place. And it's sad to see. And I, once again, don't want to derail, because I feel like there is so much that I want to constantly say, because there's so much that revolves around all these topics. and how this affects today, right? How this affects this current world in which we live in, and the experiences that we have, right? But I want to get back to what I was saying regarding how they're attempting to use those that they've placed in ICE detention, and I was wondering, why are they placing them in detention centers? Why aren't they just, because they were sending many individuals, they were just sending them off to their country, taking them, via plane. They were saying that they were paying $1,000. I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. To be like, if there's one thing that we have to realize, is that this country has never kept its word, especially, that's the politicians and governments have never kept a word. As we see, there was this whole move towards establishing peace in Palestine. Did we see that? It's so sad. And I spoke about this in one of my other videos, where I spoke about how and why is more so like why POCs voted for Trump. I don't feel like it's only race related, or race related alone. It's really hinged on sexism. That's what my overall take was. As we know, many communities of color are misogynistic or have more traditionalist conservative values and views, and unfortunately I feel like it was a wrong move on the Democratic parties, and to assume that we're even there, because hey, let's even take a moment to think about the West itself. Like, we think that the West is upholds women, like, and there's always this concept, this region around the world, I've always seen a lot of commentary on, like, in the Middle East they oppress and X, Y, and Z. I'm just like, but that happens here too, maybe to a lesser scale. Still, it happens. Why didn't Kamala win? Because, well, she's also a woman, and it wasn't solely POCs, it was also white men and women, which are, or claim they are so progressive, yet they have so much racism and hate, and they clearly don't even value women as well. So oh my gosh, please no. So I've always found that really comical, but it's like that statement of, we're so progressive, or we're so advanced and all this stuff, and it's just like, no, we have so many issues, and we're always trying to deflect from the issues that exist here. And once again, I also speak about that. I speak about how there's this constant, like, this is happening in this country, and we have to save, the Palestinian, and yes, free Palestine, I speak about that as well. But we have to save these people in other parts of the world, when we're not even saving and helping our own people, right? We're not even uplifting our own people. And actually, that leads me to say this, that I do find that what those in power, which have historically been the white community, white people, right,